Hello, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at Apple. We're going to look at it from a variety of perspectives to try to see what this market might be doing and what we're going to be watching for in the coming weeks. We're going to look at Apple using momentum. We're going to look at Apple using moving average channel. We're going to look at Apple's cycles as well. So we're going to start with Apple here and do some momentum analysis. So starting with the monthly, what do we see? We see there is actually some divergence setting up, but not confirmed. So I am watching these for bearish sell signals in Apple, but nothing's confirmed at all until you get a closes on these oscillators below these black lines. So from a monthly perspective, nothing going on right now. On the quarterly chart, we have similar divergence setting up, but again, not confirmed until we get a close below these black lines. So currently there is some divergence going on these higher time frames, quarterly and monthly, but nothing that is actionable, nothing that is triggered. So those are just setups that I'm watching. How about the weekly on the divergence perspective? So we do see the momentum oscillators diverging from the price action. If this confirms, then we'll have a weekly momentum sell signal. But as of right now, there's no trigger. So pretty much nothing actively triggering on the weekly, monthly, or 3-month charts on Apple, but there are some setups that are there waiting for the trigger. We'll just take a look at the daily. Actually, we'll take a look at the daily here on this chart. So now we're going to look at it from a a moving average channel perspective. So looking at it from a weekly perspective here, we have the moving average channel with the Williams accumulation distribution index above its 57 period moving average. So any pullback to the low of the channel is an opportunity to buy. We see that happened last week when we traded into the moving average channel. We got a nice divergence entry on the 6 hour. So whenever I'm looking at weekly levels, I do like to utilize the 6 hour for entries. So we got a divergence entry here where the 6 hour diverged, price diverged with the DPO and the CCI. And not quite with the MACD. Confirmed up here. Hasn't quite hit its target yet, its first target. So that was a nice trade. So what I'd be looking for this week on Apple is possibly a continuation, but this could be seen as resistance. So if it does trade back down to this bottom of this moving average channel, paying attention to the 6 hour chart, looking for some sort of divergence confirmation to get long and to trade up into the high of the MAC. And then from the daily perspective, we see right now price is still in a strong uptrend. So any return to the low of the MAC is potentially a setup for buying, which we see happened last week. We are now 2 bars above the MAC. So what I'm thinking may happen with Apple is we may see a rise of 2 times the MAC. So we see the MAC is 1.85. So we put that up at the close of Friday, duplicate that. Twice the moving average channel from that close is the first target, with the stop being twice the size of the moving average channel. So first target is 1R, and then the next target is 4 times the width of the moving average channel. So potentially this week, some upside for Apple is in the cards based on the daily. Let's just take a look at cycles here. So if I turn on the decennial pattern, we see that the decennial pattern for Apple is to put in a low sometime end of September, right around now, and to go up until end of October. Okay, so that's something to make note of. We also have an annual predictable zone that from October 4th to December 12th, there's a 90% probability that there'll be successful up trade. So if you bought on this date and sold on this date, 90% of the time price will be higher. How much higher? That this data doesn't provide me with that information. So we have the decennial pattern along with the annual predictable zone suggesting an up move coming here, which is in line with the daily chart that we just looked at. There's quite a bit of bullish strength going on on the daily chart with the moving average channel, which would suggest some upward movement here this week in Apple. We also have, this is a shorter term cycle. This is a blend of two cycles. This is a blend of the 246 day and the 209 day. Temporary cycles, suggesting a low being put in sometime in the end of October and then up till June of 2025. Now, this is a more major cycle. It doesn't have the best walk forward analysis. So if we pop this up, we could see it was quite accurate for a while. And then, more recently, it's actually inversely correlated. Still something we might want to watch is that this is a cyclical high here, major cyclical high. And then for an intermarket analysis, this is taking the most similar 3 years of price action in Apple and seeing what did Apple do. We see the composite found generally an up move until the new year. So I think basically Apple this week could see some more upside. Minimum target would be 1.8 to be about for a move up to 238.43. So that is a target for sure for Apple this week. Will it hit it? Who knows? And as we mentioned earlier in the video, there is some momentum divergence setting up for sells, but nothing triggered. So basically, unless this moving average channel, this Williams accumulation distribution index closes below the 57 period moving average, this market is one that you want to buy when it returns to the bottom of the moving average channel. One entry technique would be to go long right here with a stop of 2 times the width of the channel and a first target of 2 times the width of the channel. The more conservative entry is to wait for Apple to return and touch the bottom of this moving average channel and then look for entries on the 1 hour using divergence or the 18 period moving average or the 10 high 8 close entry techniques. Those are the 3 safest entry techniques. So this is what I think is coming up for Apple. Some potential upside here this week, and we do need to keep an eye on those divergences that are shaping up but have not triggered. So we don't really worry about them till they're triggered. Cycles, they're interesting. They do suggest some upside here based on decennial patterns and annual predictable zones. Little mixed messages though from the higher time frame cycle and the lower time frame temporary cycles. But I think this is good information for us to know, to be watching for these divergence trades, especially. These divergence setups are very powerful if they do trigger, so we do want to keep an eye on that. If you do trade short term, I think Apple's going to be a good one to go long on this week. This is my thoughts on Apple for this week, and if you have any questions about any of my analysis here, feel free to shoot me a message. I hope you guys have a great week, and thank you for listening.